Right, welcome back, guys. Sorry for fucking around with the times today. I just could do the time, then I couldn't do the time, and then I couldn't get Twitter to work. Man, like, I don't know how long it's been since Elon bought Twitter, but please just fix it. I'm not asking for basic function. I'm not asking for bells and whistles. I'm not asking for crazy features. I just want it to work. I just want to be able to log on to my fucking computer, go to x.com and have it work, not crash every single time. It's so frustrating. It's taken me 7 minutes to get the stream working, and I had to do a brand new link because the other one broke, and etc. Like, it's just, whatever you guys are doing out there at X, and it's cool to see Grok and all these new features and stuff. I'm just, on behalf of the people, I'm almost tearful saying this, on behalf of the people, please, 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 just make it work from a basic standpoint. I should be able to log on to X on my computer and it shouldn't crash every single time I log on. Like, I should be able to start a stream and it shouldn't crash. Just please fix these things. Thank you. Rant over. I genuinely teared up saying that. It's just caused me so much stress in the last 15 minutes. Okay, now back to markets. Look, it's frustrating. You know what? I feel frustrated. I'll tell you why I feel frustrated. Because I just should have bought more yesterday. I should have bought more. Like, I did well to... Look, here are the trades we did yesterday. We did them live on stream. Great. This is now crashed. Let's just go into the wrong link. Perfect. Great. Just a blank stream for you guys. I don't know why that's not loading. I should have bought more yesterday. When my trades load, I can show you what they are. Here we go. The book. So yeah, look. Last couple of, as I mentioned, I was all in cash for a while. Started adding risk over the last couple of days. Yesterday, some really good prints. We bought SanDisk, about 100k worth of SanDisk at just above 1,000. That is up 25% today from my low print. We bought some Sharon holdings, big holdings of situational awareness. That's up 25-30% today. We bought Nebius, and that's up also about 25% today, 20%. Micron, we bought smalls, that's up 10-15% today. So I really I bought shit. These are all horrific low prints there, and it did feel grim buying them. Like I've been saying for the last few weeks, always when you feel like you're going to shit yourself is the best time to buy, and it did feel grim buying this stuff. That's why I didn't buy more, but I was like, let's stay disciplined. I still feel negative on stocks. That move after the FOMC, I think for me was confirmation that the market was in a sell strength mode, and I thought I would have time to build positions. I really thought I'd have time to build positions. This is 100k. This is almost just under 200k of risk, and I would have deployed. I've still got 760k cash sitting here, so I would have definitely deployed like close to $1 million worth of risk, and on a 20% return to myself, I would have taken some chips off. And unfortunately, I only got on about 200k worth of risk just below it, and we had that 20% move. And now I don't know what to do now, really, because I don't really want to average up. I don't want to average up, but I'll explain to you why I feel a bit more bullish now on stocks than I did yesterday. I would love to see a pullback today to add more risk, but yeah, it's just, it's one of those things. Should I be complaining about making 62 grand today from buying when no one else did and sticking my balls on the table, on the forehead? Probably shouldn't be complaining. However, I just know how much money I've made in these sorts of moves, and last night I was just genuinely excited about thinking like, man, I'm going to be able to make like a good 30 to 50% return on $1 million. I probably would have chucked some calls in there as well, had a bit more leverage. So I just feel a bit shortchanged here, because I just feel like I played it really well, and then we had this move higher. my view on stocks has changed a bit, and I'm not talking about the overall stock market. I'm talking specifically about memory names. Talking about Shaz. I bought this here yesterday. We're talking about Micron. Bought some of this here yesterday. Talking about SanDisk. Bought some of this here yesterday. Our boy. So look, the big thing is situational awareness, right? Let me try and pull up his holdings here. Yeah, that's the right one. Open with Chrome. There we go. So these are all of situational awareness's holdings as of, this is as of 31st of March. They could well have changed, but Nebius top holding, SanDisk top holding, Shaz, we know they own 25% of it. These are the things I was catching an knife on yesterday. Iron and Core, we've got two other big ones as well that moved that I didn't look at. But these moves now make sense when you think about, I guess when you realize those rumors were true. We'd heard those rumors 2 or 3 days ago. Now, here's what I think. And I think the headline, I think people, as usual, crypto Twitter and FinTwit are not smart. So, I'm not saying I'm smart, but I think I have a better read of the headlines than they do. And look, first things first, there isn't, let me tell you something, there's not some 23-year-old guy is not fucking managing billions of dollars, right? It's just, that's clearly not what's actually happening. I do think he's a bit of a poster boy for what they're doing, and it's more of a marketing stunt. But if you look at who's backed it, look at the other people involved, the other big LPs, this really is a vehicle for a group of very wealthy people who were bullish on the AI bottleneck to put the trade on in size, and that's exactly what they did. And then, you have our boy Leopold, who's kind of being the face of it, basically. So that's the first thing, right? This isn't just everyone's like, oh, of course, the 23-year-old guy didn't know how to manage risk. It's like, mate, you are actually the stupid one thinking some 23-year-old guy is sitting there managing billions of dollars without any help, because that's not the case. No one would ever do that in their right mind. Second thing I would say is, look, if you're a fund, right? If you're a fund and you're losing money, and you're losing a lot of money, there's a few things that might happen. But generally speaking, you would liquidate, you would sell your positions, and then if you were to shut the fund down, you would return capital to investors, because it's sort of like hey, I fucked up, it's game over kind of thing. If you're a fund and you're losing money and you're about to go bankrupt, you don't usually go back to your LPs and say, hey, we need more money. This isn't this is not an operational company, right? It's not like, oh, we need to fund and pay all our employees and fund production and all this kind of stuff, so we're asking you to raise more capital at preferential terms. That's not what's going on here. The guys, the original LPs, and I think I read somewhere the vast majority of the LPs are still up massively. I think I read somewhere the fund is still up. Don't quote me on this, but I saw a tweet somewhere that the fund is still up about 400%. I think it's obviously given back some gains, but it's up 400% or something year to date, and that's despite the move. So these guys are up. Like, some of these LPs are up big, and when they're going to raise more capital, they're basically saying, hey, we want to buy this dip. Like, we think this is the pitch to these guys are like, we think this is a huge backup. We've obviously been attacked by shorts, and we want to double down on this trade, and we think this trade is going to work. That's what's happening. And now it's a question of, do these people put money in or do they not put money in? That they also have hedged stuff. They have puts. So you don't necessarily see, well, I guess we did see some of the holdings, but you don't necessarily see the whole story there. And I just think, if I'm them, it's like, let's get this rumor spread that we're struggling, or that we're gonna get margin called and stuff. Let's let the market panic. Let's make sure we have that capital in the bag to raise, and then let's buy that dip, and then let's announce it. And I think when that article got leaked, got posted by the FT, to me it's very clearly a leaked article. So yeah, someone said 439% through June, so they're down more. But I mean, what? Most memory ranges are down, what, like 20, 30%? So they could be down on the year. They could well be down on the year, actually. Actually, Martin Shkreli posted something saying they were down on the year now. But I think it's all sort of coordinated, and it's not a coincidence that we're rallying a lot today. Like, this is not a coincidence. Like, what? You see, and I said this morning, sell the rumors, buy the news, but what you see, all these people saying, oh my God, they might be getting liquidated and shit. And then the FT releases a story on it, which is still a rumor. You know, it's still basically a rumor. And then the market fucking rips. Like, if you figure it out, right, you do the maths. You know what I mean? Like, the people who've been fucked here, probably the people who sold the last 2 or 3 days, who'd bought the highs, who got panicked out of selling their positions because they were like, oh man, these guys are going to blow up. And it's why shit like, you know, Shaz, they own 20% of this. Like, I guess this is around when the rumors started hitting, and they've almost engulfed these two candles in just today. So I think CNBC saying they sold their entire book to one buyer. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. There is no way. Let me tell you this. There's no fucking way they sold their entire book to one buyer and then they're raising capital at the same time to put this trade back on. Like, that's not what happened. No fucking way. And it makes no sense, right? Like, when you think about it, why would, like, the only thing that maybe what could have happened is they could have been trying to raise capital. People maybe said no, and then they had to get rid of it. But, like, that's if they're facing capital calls. I don't think any of these guys are calling capital, right? Like, I don't know. I think the rumors of someone else buying are incorrect. I think there may have been some block trades to prevent margin calls. I think that could be the case. And maybe they're raising capital now again to add in a way that's more disciplined. I don't know, but I think there's a lot of fake news out there, in my opinion. I don't know exactly what happened. I think there's a lot of fake news, but the market is telling you, and so whatever's happened has happened, and we can't dwell on what we should have done. However, so the question is, what do we do now? And look, this stuff is still down a lot. If we look at Micron, it's down, 30-40% from the highs. Look at SanDisk, still down 50% from the highs. You look at SK Hynix. This is the ADR. If you look at SK Hynix itself, down big from the highs. I mean, this is down, what is it, 60-70% almost from the highs. This stuff is down big, and oh man, like, I had limit orders on this set for the last 2 days, didn't hit. Wasn't aggressive enough in buying. I literally could have just bought here in size as well. This is going to rip. If this doesn't rip, I'm definitely buying it tomorrow. I wonder how big is the app.hyperliquid.xyz. I wonder what it's doing on Hyperliquid. I saw someone mention Mando. Let's go here. Yeah, mate, this is a buy, I reckon. This is only up 6% today. That's a good trade. I would buy that. Makes you wonder if I should buy the ADR, but the ADR is up 15%. The thing about the ADR trades rich to the Korean stock, but I think conversions on that are going live at the end of the month, but it's also the end of the month already. But I just think this will always trade rich because this is what you have all the funds in the US buying. So, I don't know, the Korean market feels kind of weak technically, so still, I just wonder if the ADR is a better buy than the actual Korean stock. Probably not. Korean stock's a better buy for a longer term hold. This funding is probably fucking crazy though. What's the funding here? Just a cheeky 333% annualized funding. Anyway, so I guess what I'm saying, I'm not usually an advocate for buying these pumps, but I'm very tempted to add, despite being up and having caught the bottom yesterday in what I feel is small size for myself, I'm very tempted to add risk here, because if the situational awareness overhang is now cleared, which it clearly has, and that was clearly what was weighing on the market. That's why we're up today. It means that these moves can have some legs. It means we can have some momentum behind this. And yes, I still have the same concerns about rates, oil, stocks. We're going into a period of that's poor on the calendar. Typically, seasonally is quite weak. But you know, this is the AI narrative, and the AI trade is something it's just something that can't be stopped, in my opinion. And you know, how are the fears out the way a little bit now from a technical standpoint? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And this is a hard position. You know, I hate being in these positions, and this is why I always talk about buying the dip and buying, you know, averaging down and buying when no one's buying, and you know, getting stuff as low as possible, because when you have those days when stuff is up a lot, then you don't have this conundrum that I have now, where it's like, fuck, everything's up 20%. What do I do here? Do I buy? Is it going to reverse? Do I wait? If you wait one day, inevitably it goes up higher again. I don't know. And I just hate making that decision. It could genuinely go either way. I see Rezo's asking, a 30% move is surely going to retrace tomorrow. Should we wait before buying stocks? It could do, and I hope it does. But it also may not do. It also genuinely may just keep going. Just think about it, right? Like, when did this stuff start trading shit around? Let's bring up Micron's a better example. Let's bring up SanDisk, because that's one they actually hold a lot of. It got to 2.5K almost, started trading shit around here, and then started dropping off aggressively around here. And how much have we moved to recover that? Now that this overhang, we're guessing, has cleared. We don't know, but we're guessing it's cleared. We're here. So, you know, and if you're someone who's timed this well, which I'm sure many people have, people with information have timed this well, and probably sold a lot here, or probably shorted all the way down here. Are you just going to stop there? Probably not. You know, you can move to 1400. That's still here. 1600 is still here. 1800 is still here. Right? God forbid SanDisk smashes earnings next week. Now again, the before we were scared about earnings because of the way the market was trading. If we have a bit of momentum now at the lows, has that changed? If are good earnings now good? Like, these are all the things that the way that the market is, the mood of the market. You know, it's sort of like, I was going to say something that would have got me into trouble for being potentially sexist there, so I'm just going to say, I'm just not going to say what I was going to say. But it can be like, you know, one day you can wake up in a good mood, one day you can wake up in a bad mood. Like, that good mood could persist for a few days, the bad mood can persist for a few days. Like, the market's the same thing. The market is really moody, and you have to tailor yourself to the mood of the market. And I just feel like the wind is changing again a little bit, you know. And we had the right call in the last few days. We just didn't get the risk on well enough now. But is it too late to get the risk on? And, you know, our breakout traders, we should do some TA on this stuff, but our breakout traders now like, oh, fuck, this is a breakout to buy because it's going to break out even more. Yeah, like, look, before, good news got sold, right? Rallies got sold on good news. Bad news, we dumped. I bet you anything, if you have a good bit of news now, this shit will move up a lot. Because also, short covering, right? We said yesterday, SanDisk, 6% short interest. Shaz, 12, 13% short interest, right? So this stuff will move on good news, I think, if we get good news now. But yeah, anyway, shouldn't be angry with myself for making money. And the tough parts and the difference between someone who just makes, a few $100K a year from taking cash out, they'll never lose a lot of money. They'll always make a few $100K a year, whatever it is, which is a good living for anyone. But the difference between that guy and the guy who makes millions a year is the ability to identify the trades that you're supposed to hold on to for bigger returns, or the trades that you're supposed to average up on, right? Like, if you want to make the millions from putting in 300K, you have to hit that 5x, hit that 10x. You have to have a bit of leverage in there, and you have to really just not sell too early and know when you have the momentum. And it's really hard because most of the time, especially when we're in the middle or hopefully the end of this bear market, you have been punished for holding on too long. You've been punished and punished and punished and punished and punished for holding on too long, and you're just getting fucked. So your instant reaction is to be like, let me just sell. And I'm just trying to figure out, I'm trying to do what I've managed to successfully do in the past, whether it was on Bored Apes, whether it was on Whiff, on Mog, on Pepe, just trying to figure out, is this one of those times where some of the stuff I'm meant to hold on to a bit longer? And I still don't know. I'm feeling like it kind of is. I feel like with the stock move, I just really do feel like I need to be averaging up here. I need to have a think about it today when I just been busy today on a few different things, and haven't been able to sit down and think about it with a clear head. And I made some bad trades rushing stuff, and I promised myself on after that time that I'm just going to make sure I just sit down properly and think about it before just rushing into trades. So that's what I'm doing now. And obviously the market's ripped in my face, but I'm just trying to figure out if this is one of those times where we should be adding stocks. And I mean, look, how much risk do we have in the book here? We have, if we just look at stocks, 45K of Micron, about 40K of Nebius, let's call that 85K. Shaz is of 100K, so 185K. So I'm a bit more than that. SanDisk is 113, so that takes us up to about 300. And then these two won't really move that much, but I have 300K worth of high beta risk, and then about 70K of lower beta risk. I guess, I mean, I can't believe I'm calling SpaceX and Tesla lower beta, but it's not going to move as much as this stuff is. 300K worth of risk. Can we see a 30% move up, 50% move up from here? Absolutely. Would I be happy making 150K? I guess so. That's fine. But I just feel like if we could have just had that weakness for 2 or 3 more days, I would have scaled into a bigger position and could have made a lot more, but can't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't ever be greedy. You can only trade with the information you have, not the information you don't. And there's no other way I really could have played it. I could have been bigger yesterday. And usually I would go bigger. I was just being disciplined. And that's fine. Probably going to hit all-time highs again on this NAV, I think, quite soon. Let's see. And this is the time also, like, I think you want to buy momentum. I wouldn't like buy underperformers here. I think you want to buy momentum. That's why I'm considering this SK Hynix stuff. But this should move with everything. It gets to a point where it has to move with everything because of how undervalued it becomes. Right, that's stocks. I'm gonna. I don't know if I told you guys what I'm gonna do. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do. For now I'm gonna watch. I'm not going to do anything for the next couple of hours, and I may not do anything into the close. I might buy some stuff into the close. I would like to get bigger in Micron. And this is at a level where I sold it now, where I originally sold the original bag. Should we add some Micron here? Fuck it. Let's buy some Micron. Oh, why am I doing this? Should not be doing this, should I? You know what? let's have a look. Slow up IBKR. What do we do? What do we do here? I just think we're going to go higher. Okay, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. Here's how I'm thinking about it. I'm going to add another 50 shares of Micron here. Submit buy order. Done. That's fine. What's that, like 40 grand or something? If you go lower, I'll add more. I have so much cash. I can afford to do this. So the book is rich in cash right now, 760k cash. I feel like I would have fully deployed that in about 2 or 3 days had we had the continued weakness. Maybe for a longer period, I don't know. But so we buy another 50 shares here. If we go up, great. If we go down, I will buy more. If we go down, I'll buy more. Now we have some catalysts going into next week. We have SanDisk numbers. If they're good, it's gonna cause the entire space to rally. If they're bad, yeah, we can sell off. But I just think the momentum is starting to change now. I think the wind is blowing. It feels like the wind is blowing in a different direction now, potentially today after all that news on on situational awareness. So okay, so that's that. Okay, I'm gonna have to go quite soon actually. So let me just run through crypto real quick. Why is this? Why can't I see? Dex Screener is another website. Please fix. Why can I not pull up PONS here? I bet you it won't work. Failed to connect server. Great. In case you haven't realized, I'm sort of in a very aggravated mood today. I'm usually pretty chill, but one of the things that really annoys me is just stuff not working. Why can't you get stuff to work? And I shouldn't complain because I'm sure we do always have tech issues, and I understand. But it's just so, when you're like back to back on things and you're just in a rush and then you're trying to like get something loaded and it's not working, it's always a pain. Look, PONS, I saw a tweet today. It said PONS is losing the launchpad wars. It was obviously written by someone who hasn't done any analysis on it and is looking at market caps, which is fair enough. Yeah, like it's given up market cap to some of the other players, fine. However, let's have a look at the numbers, right? Yesterday, PONS had a 78% market share in fees. The second highest was Noxa. So this is the last 24 hours, actually. The second highest is Noxa. Noxa is a shut down platform, right? This thing doesn't, they're shut down. So the other guys like Varo, Let's Cash, look at how small these numbers are. So I'm sorry, but if you're selling PONS, if you're selling this because you're worried about it losing market share when these guys are coming on and putting these numbers, that's really dumb. I think that's really silly, and I think that's really dumb. I think that's not a reason to sell it. And I think from what I read on the timeline, people are upset that they missed this. They're upset that they missed PONS. Now they're jumping onto the new launchpad and trying to threaten it and make it back. And I think that's silly. I think PONS is still very cheap. You should just buy PONS because it is still cheap and can go a lot higher in my opinion. So this is still absolutely dominating in market share. And by the way, this is pre-V2. I think people who want to launch potentially big coins on PONS, and let me tell you something, something I really believe, when they launch V2, I bet you there's going to be a runner on PONS, because there has to be. PONS needs a runner to succeed. And these things just always happen, whether it's manufactured, whether it's organic. I don't know whether everyone's just like, okay, we have to find the PONS runner, which is what we all like now. there's going to be a runner on PONS whenever they launch V2. And I think they said V2 was coming this week. Let's see. I'd rather they take their time and launch it without any bugs than rush to launch it. But there'll be a runner on it. But I think, I guess the point I'm trying to make is these numbers there are people who are holding off from launching on PONS while they wait for V2. And despite that, these numbers are still high. So my guess is they will regain a large chunk of this market share that they've lost, which is only 6% when V2 launches. And look, we know all these revenue numbers. We have 400K right now in the treasury. Buybacks continue. Like, this trades at 0.7 times multiple still. Like, none of this stuff has changed. I think the general population of Robinhood traders are people who are used to trading in the trenches and are used to being fixated on trench style narratives rather than actually doing some analysis. And this is not a meme coin. This is a launchpad that you can actually value this, right? You can actually value this with real numbers that are publicly available on chain. Not only can you value this, you can value all the other launchpads. You can compare them. You can do relative value analysis. It is the most apples to apples analysis you could possibly imagine. It is literally on there on a plate for you. It's like it is eating a piece of cake. That's all this is. You can't do that with memes because memes are about cabals, they're about the memes, they're about the narratives, they're about all these intangible things that you can't quantify or value. All of this you can literally quantify into fucking numbers. It is there publicly it's public on a blockchain, and not only is it public on a blockchain, you have AI tools available for free to run this stuff for you if you want to, or you can just get it from Rekt Mkts Pro. But these numbers, I guess these numbers need to be proven. They need to show longevity. But we're now almost 3 weeks into it, and it keeps growing. And if this continues, you are going to start to see more capital flow into PONS, which won't be your 18-year-old trencher. It will be someone who is a crypto VC or someone who's a more sophisticated player who'll be like, okay, right, Robinhood chain is growing, TVL is growing, users are growing, volume is growing, number of launches are growing, fees are growing. This thing is actually buying back 80% of its tokens. This thing is cheap. We are going to buy it. And I think that's what's going to happen on this if these numbers continue. For me, the numbers are still strong. And they're strong despite the fact that everyone's waiting for V2 to launch a lot. So, I have not touched my position in PONS. I'm in no doubt of liking the trade. The invalidation for me would be if after V2, the numbers get worse and worse over time. And if they get worse and worse over time, whether that's PONS specific, whether that's Robinhood chain, if they get worse over time, then, it's maybe it didn't work out. But while the numbers are growing and while we wait for V2, after which I believe the numbers will grow even more, then I think this is going to be going a lot higher. So I'm gonna call it there. I really wanted to. We just reopened Rekt Mkts Pro, which you can, if you go to markets.rekt.com/join, or if you just go into the website, it's open now for everyone. Anyone can join this. You can pay upfront, whether there's a discount, or you can pay monthly, and all the revenues go back towards buying the net revenues after fees, etc., go towards buying Rekt coin. We posted that we acquired about 1.5 trillion, I think, of Rekt coin it was on the Rekt coin account. That was about 0.3% of the supply we were able to buy since we launched Rekt Mkts. And look, I really wanted to go through the platform today for anyone who's not a subscriber. Unfortunately, I've run out of time, so I'll do that tomorrow. But it is open, and go onto the X, go onto check your emails, etc. It's open for anyone to join if you want to join. And there's been a lot of value in the Discord. I think people have made some good money in the Discord. We'll have a post coming out later on which shows someone made their entire, more than their entire subscription fee back on one trade within the first week of it. So that's that. I'm gonna call it a day there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Sorry about the delayed start and the messing around on time. Sorry that I have come across in an agitated mood today and maybe slightly aggressive on everything that happened, but it's one of those days where a culmination of things just combine. It's just like, fuck. But I guess that's what you get when you stream every day. You get to see all sides of the face. But we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, normal time again, last stream of the week, and I'll try and spend some time to run through the platform and the stuff that we have coming up. So cheers everyone for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you.